Okay, so 5 minutes or less. Going to be a little bit longer than 5 minutes. We've been here before. We know how this works at this point. You know, it's episode 2, but we know how this works. 5 minutes on the timer. I'm gonna read the question and then we're gonna start. Okay. The question came from I fucking forgot. Give me one. I gotta check. Oops, that one's not it. Okay, today's comment, the suggestion for today's video is from Big Lechy. What's your favorite? What he fucking typed it wrong? What your favorite anime arc is and why in 5 minutes or less? Okay, cool. So 5 minutes on my timer. Might not even take the whole 5 minutes, and we're going now 5 minutes or less. Okay, so my favorite anime arc is actually it's not from my favorite anime at all, but it's from one of my favorite anime. It's from Bungo Stray Dogs, and it's that the Dark Era arc. It's that really short arc where they show Oda and Dazai and Mori all before they were where they are now. When Dazai's still in the Port Mafia, it's the arc with the orphans and Oda is basically the main character of that arc. That arc was so good to me. I don't know why, but it's always an arc that I just always like remembered. I remember everything about that arc just because it was amazing. Just seeing where these characters were before they were on these opposing sides, warring factions and all that. And I love any show with a bunch of warring factions, anything like that. So anything. So especially when in I think season 3, there's 3 factions now and they have to come together. It's all so good, but I feel like seeing the past version of them when they were all on the same side, when they were as close as you can get to calling them friends at the time, I feel like that's just the best way to see them. Seeing them come from one place, like, you know, we're friends, we're on the same side, we might not 100% trust each other, but some of us are friends, we're close, you know, they were still going to the bar together, all of this, and then the transition to where they are currently in the show. That alone made it such an interesting part for me. And then what really emphasized all this was Oda. Oda as a character was so good, even though he was only there for what is it, like 6 episodes. It's a very short arc. My camera's not focused. There we go. It's a very short arc, and Oda just I feel like Oda just shines so much in such a short time in that arc. Just from the introduction of him dealing with his dark past, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be effectively just some criminal out here just moving for the Port Mafia. You know, when they say jump, I jump. He wanted to get out, but he kind of felt trapped in it. Like, even on his way to, you know, the place where he does wind up dying. Spoiler alert, a little late at that point, but, you know, if you haven't seen the show, I feel like by the time I would have said it, you would have clicked off the video by now. But just seeing him in a different light, you know, you see Port Mafia, you assume everybody's evil, everybody's up to something, because that's what you've been led to believe by the show. You've been shown that, you know, most of these people are evil, they're criminals, they don't think twice about killing somebody or putting somebody up for sacrifice for one reason or the other. And just showing Oda not necessarily being like that, you know, he has a conscience, he wants to move away from doing these things. And then especially when you see the orphans, that's what got me. It was okay. So not only is it just a I don't want to do this anymore, he wants to take care of the orphans. And honestly, the show went somewhere that I really never thought that it would. You know, up to the show wasn't like I don't think the show was too particularly dark up until that point. But then when you get to the inevitable scene, another spoiler alert, real quick. We get to that inevitable scene that's actually pretty fucking heartbreaking when he goes and the fucking children get blown up. Like that like stopped me in my tracks. It was like, okay, like this just got a lot. Like it just blew up a room full of kids. Like it got a lot more serious. And I remember the first time watching it, I was like, I wonder who these kids are now. I wonder if they grew up to be any of like the characters that we know, or like, you know, if they get sent away somewhere. Because the kids were interesting. You know, they was like, you know, they weren't too interesting of characters in and of themselves, but they were interesting concept that there was these kids who he was taking care of. At my first watch, I was like, okay, cool. Like it'd be really interesting if like I guess like Dazai is watching these kids somehow and we just don't get to see it in the show. I wonder if they're gonna like cut back to it when they, you know, get back to real time. And I really thought that was gonna happen, and then they fucking die. And then from that, Oda's concentration that I am going to go kill this man. This man has to die. So when he went to fight Gin or Gide or how I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name, but him going over there, him being told, I think it's 2 or 3 times not to go. Like Dazai tells him not to go by himself, and then at that point, who he only knows is a detective, tells him not to go there. He's gonna die, and he kind of made his peace with that. And they go, and they have, honestly, in my opinion, is a really good fight. Not even necessarily because of like, you know, the fight animation or the fight choreography, but just kind of like what the fight represented. Like if Oda knowing he's gonna die in this fight, and just knowing that he's fine with dying, but this guy has to go with me. I have to take this guy with me because of what he's done, and it's also the really good thing about the fight, or the thing that I like so much, is it's Oda's out. Like, Oda knows. Granted, it's obviously I want to avenge the kids, but he also sees this as his out. Like, this is my way out of this faction I don't want to be anymore. This life I don't want to be a part of, and I guess he saw no better way than to die in this fight alongside Geed. So that was why I like that arc so much. My timer's gonna go off in 3, 2, 1. Now, there we go. Okay, that was 5 minutes or less, and a little bit over 5 minutes. But no, I explained my point, 5 minutes, and I will see you guys in the next one. Wait, real quick, leave comments on what you want me to talk about next. If I don't get to a comment, or if you have left a comment before and I haven't done it, it might be because I either A, haven't seen the show, or B, I'm in the process of finishing the show / manga, so I can talk about it. Like, for granted, there's one on episode 1 that was about Renji. I am almost done the Bleach manga, and I will do that one as soon as I finish the Bleach manga. Because I can't talk about Renji when Renji's still changing as a character in the manga, or at least the part that I'm at. So, leave comments of what you want me to talk about next time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.